This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
So, the other day I was riding around the cemeteries of Wichita, and I called Ken, and I said, so Ken, who do I need to stop and see? I was at Highland and Maple Grove? Which are right across the street from each other on Highland Street?
On Hillside.
Hillside Street. And so I go over there, and lo and behold, while I'm waiting for Ken to get back to me, stumble across this grave. I'm going to findagrave.com. Charlie Chan. How did Charlie Chan end up in Wichita?
Yeah, there's a lot of great and interesting people that were buried in Highland and Maple Grove, but Sidney Toler, who played kind of the original or more famous Charlie Chan in the 30s and 40s, is buried in Wichita. His family was from Wichita, and unlike a lot of stars who end up in LA or somewhere on the West Coast, he was buried back home.
That was, okay, so that one actually blew my mind. Some of the other people, not so surprising. So I just wish Frankie C. were here because he'd so love this segment. So let's take a look at the life and legend of Charlie Chan.
The last person I expected to find in Wichita's Highland Cemetery was Charlie Chan. Yes, the legendary, though fictional, Chinese detective rests in Kansas. Actually, Sidney Toler is buried here. But in 22 films and for millions of fans, Sidney Toler is Charlie Chan. Toler was born in Warrensburg, Missouri, and was not the first Caucasian to play the role. The character is based on the novels of Earl Durr Biggers, who wanted the Honolulu detective to be a counter to the many fictitious Asian villains on the screen. At the time, it was considered quite progressive and was thought to represent the Asian community in a positive light. Ironically, the series of films has recently come under fire for perpetuating racial stereotypes. Toler assumed the role in 1938 after Swedish actor Warner Oland died that same year. Oland's Chan had softened the character presented in the books, but Toler's Chan was truer to the more cynical, taciturn character Biggers had written. The Charlie Chan movies were churned out, sometimes 2 or 3 a year. Toler's first Chan movie was Charlie Chan in Honolulu in 1938, and his last was The Trap in 1946. Toler's family had moved to the Kansas City area from Virginia just prior to the Civil War. They later moved to Wichita, and Toler and his parents are buried in the Toler family plot in Highland Cemetery.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
In